Deep Learning AI's online series for AI for medicine learning community. I'm very honored and excited to be your guest speaker today. I'll be speaking for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll be answering your question on Slack for the rest of the time. AI's online series for AI. And don't forget to post comment, question, and a vote question on Slack. Well, I would like to do my presentation. First off, sharing my screen. I'm going to see. Here. We are. But I hope that everybody see this. Well, first of all, I would like to say that I am Ignacio Martinez Soriano. I am computer science graduate, and my specialization is in artificial intelligence. I'm living now in Lorca, Murcia. We are in Europe, in Spain, and here in Spain, in the southeast, we are in the region of Murcia, and in the little town that the name is Lorca. Why I'm here? So I invite you to follow my journey to break into AI. This is my journey. This is my personal journey about how I find the exciting world of AI. I was born in 1976. I'm a little old, but I'm here. When I was in the high school, I have watched a film that the name is War Games. I think that more of the people that are listening to me know this film. This film is about a teenager hacker, and then when I saw that film, I inspired me to be, when I grow up, computer science. So I discovered the hacker style that for me, the way of life of hacker is people that like the challenge, people who can resolve the problem, who is making solver. When I finished my computer science graduate in the University of Granada, I have learned some basic knowledge, programmation, algebra, calculus, statistics, the basic of artificial intelligence. And in artificial intelligence, we learned how we can represent the knowledge with the all kind of logic, and how the inference engineer can choose the rules to using that representation of the knowledge solve some kind of problem. So we learned to be a problem solver. In 1995, I get my job in the hospital, and I was the information system management for all the hospital. So my role and my specific task was the IT administration database, to administration network. We work with a protocol that is ITIL, and we use Scrum. At last of my time there working in IT, I implemented the Scrum Kanban to to improve the task there in the work of the process. And during this time, I was more administrator on management project, but I have no any kind of programmation. I spent too many time without take nothing of code. Only that's it, managing the position. In 2012, I tried to finish my PhD that I was doing with artificial intelligence, and the main areas was natural language processing and clinical terminology. At last, I couldn't finish my thesis, but this was a step to begin again to be excited with the artificial intelligence. When I was sorry, I'm going to put it here. In 2014, I changed the role in the same hospital, and I get out of the IT department, and I begin to be data analytic. My main job was to work with business intelligence, data warehouse, and managing report for decision making. That is the classical situation when you need to work with the management of the hospital and take decision with the data. But really, my breaking with the AI was in 2016, because I was I found the machine learning course from at Coursera with Andrew Ng, and was a big break, a big step for me, because I could translate the academic learning from the university to the practical situation with implementation, with real implementation. In this course, that is very the baseline of machine learning is the programmation. The program code is the language is Octave. But so I was thinking what language I would like to learn, and what is the best language to learn to do for my career like a data scientist. And when I was thinking, I choose between Python and R. So I know a little of R, but the final choice was Python. In 2017, we changed again the role of in my hospital, and I began to be a really data scientist, because I adding AI task developing predictive algorithms in the process of the some situation inside the hospital. My relation in the hospital was not only work every day to get the data and to get the clinical reports, and I have a research line. I have a part that we need to investigate, to research. In this time, I made my first research paper that was a clinical NER, a clinical named entity recognition. And in 2018, I began to collaborate and to work in the same time, like with the hospital, and in the same time with a novel startup that this business was about the implementation of products that was developed with artificial intelligence, but the target was the medicine. And I was working there like a data scientist, and my specialization was the natural language processing. In the same time, I was learning. Always my life is always learning. I began to, and I did the deep learning specialization from Coursera. In 2018, in 19, sorry, I go on with the other specialization of TensorFlow in practice with Coursera. And my research my research career, I was doing different international congress. One of the last of the international congress was in CBMES, that is a computer-based medical system, and I did a paper that the name is SNOMED to BEC. That is a new solution to integrate the word embeddings, the technical word embedding with a clinical terminology system that is SNOMED. Then in 2020, I began to collaborate with alpha tester consultant in DeepLearning.AI, and begin to be an associate professor in computer science and system in the University of Murcia. And so on, I still learning with the other specialist course that is about how can I learn a bird with in Udemy. Then now I'm here. My process in all this journey is always learning, and doesn't matter the old that you are, but always learning. What are I working right now in the hospital? Well, I have two lines of work. Daily, the classical hospital work is using the business intelligence. I need to use a MicroStrategy platform, and I have integrate a platform with a data warehouse with Pentaho, that is a product open source. And I made a dashboard and clinical reports to the decision making for the management of the hospital. All kind of data exploration is from the hospital information system. I produce clinical management report for clinical service and economic and financial management. From the other way, I have the research hospital work that I made some predictive algorithms. For example, one of them was an algorithm to identify the collapse of patient in emergency service. That algorithm predictive I have made with Microsoft with Azure machine learning platform. That is very interesting to do that and produce an API to get the data. But my specialization and my main target is the natural language processing. So I developed some clinical NER to integrate the clinical concepts and to tag the clinical concept from the free text. I developed the last year in the Congress, the international Congress that I said, the approach that the name is SNOMED to BEC, that is a situation to mix the word embedding technology and clinical terminology, and standard clinical terminology that is SNOMED City. I work with the analysis of discharge reports to identify clinical concepts. All of this is in free text. When one of the question, one of the principal main when somebody know that I'm working in the hospital is that everybody wants data. Like you know, the principal way to get knowledge is first the data. We never can forget that to get the knowledge, we need data, then transfer to information, and then we will transfer to knowledge. But first is the data. What data I have or I can use? I use the data from the hospital information system. But all the data is approved from the Ethical Research Hospital Commission. So the only way to do some application of AI is about a research project. I need to propose a research project, and then the commission, if pass this project, I can make and can develop this project. The situation in the hospital, we have a hospital information system that we integrate all the electronic health record in test, and we have different other different information system from laboratory, from radiology, that integrate show the information and the data of the electronic health record. We have image with the radiology image from a PACS. But we have here, for example, here in my hospital, we have a problem that for the situation of the structure and the kind of radiology information system, I can't use that radiology images. So I'm losing the opportunity to apply deep learning algorithms and investigate in that field. For that case, I prefer to improve my natural language process techniques and try to extract the information and the knowledge in that field. What is the most challenging thing in my work? Well, like I don't know if you know that the role or the kind of data scientist in a Spanish public hospital and in general in the government administration, there is no any specific role for data scientists. Don't exist. It's a pity, but now we have a computer science role, we have statistic roles, but we haven't data scientists that integrate all the mathematics, statistics, computer science in the same role. So I'll try to create that the role for the hospital. One of my challenge was to convince, to demonstrate, to to prove that we can do some predictive algorithms that improve the natural work in the hospital. So my challenge is to have the recognition from the management to work in this role. And to do that, I developed the predictive classification algorithm to predict if will be a collapse in the emergency hospital service. With an anticipation of hour, we can see if the demand of the patient is so much, our resources are limited, we can show an alarm and warn of the collapse. I made that in Azure machine learning, and so for the management of the hospital was a good idea, a good option to take the recognition from the management to be a data scientist. Other important challenge was in the last year in the International Congress, my paper Snometrubek, that it's a new approach to mix the word embedding and the clinical terminology concept. I I try to put a list of research courses that I have made. What is the interesting to be, but it's I think that it's very short. I would like to improve and give more links of my own experience. In the Slack channel, I will try to put here the principal blogs that I used to read, because one of the things more important in this field is always read and always learn. So it's very necessary to be a list of too many blogs, always very important blogs that there is in the web, and it's very interesting to be always learning the last news. One of the things that when you want to be a data scientist and data scientist apply to the medicine is to have a good repository at GitHub. Here I can share my my repositories that I have too many repos, and we have all kind of algorithms from machine learning, deep learning, very different repos that you can use and you can share and improve. Other classical web for the people that have research field is the web ResearchGate. And of course, one of the classical information in that you need to have with your CV is in LinkedIn. Here you need to, it's very important to have this profile, this profile, because you can now you can share your knowledge there in that web. Here I would like to show a demo, but like I at home I have only some presentation of my research field and the other international congress that I was made. So I would like to show one. I'm going to and try to explain how can develop a research project inside the hospital. I'm going to choose the other one here. This was from 2017. I developed a semantic tag medical concept using word-to-word representation. Like you know, I'm here from Murcia, and this is my hospital. And the goal of this is use the electronic health record like free text, and with a codification process, normalize the electronic health record. To do this, usually, we have an expert human and some automatic tools to do this process. The classical tool are named entity recognition and with a semantic tag. The classical semantic tag that there are in this kind of research is a semantic tag that is a process to associate an element from a ontology with some document, and there are some tool from the web that you can find, and it's very interesting to prove. That is MedLib, MetaMap, Knowledge Map, and CTake. All of this, we propose a new approach that we use the word embedding model, word-to-vec, to represent the word of the text by vectors and identify the semantic relation between there. So when you can represent a word like a vector, and then we can use the similarity distance to identify that word, and we can get the knowledge of the vector. Then we can map with the standard clinical terminology. This is the main of my research. For the people that want to know word embedding, there is a Spanish proverb that it's very useful to identify and to define what is word embedding. That is, tell me who are your friends, and I tell you who you are. So this is the basic idea of word embedding. It's to identify word from a word. What is the word that is around this word in a text? And then I can get the knowledge of this. To do this, we use the technical word2vec. That's from Mikolov, and that when he was in Google. This is the structure of the word2vec that is very technical. I'm going to pass. I'm going to get here. I would like to show you that the principal function that I use to identify how is the meaning of the word is using function similarity, that is the cosine distance from word vectors. To use the clinical terminology standard, I used SNOMED-CT. For the people that work in a hospital, I'm in the research medicine way. Everybody knows the standard that is SNOMED-CT. This is like an ontology that represents the clinical concept with a unique identifier. We can get the exactly clinical concept that is in a text. This is the principal structure of the SNOMED-CT component, that we have a description, a concept, and a relation. We use this to integrate with the system word2vec. At last, we did the implementation. You have here some example. Sorry for the example because it's in Spanish. But what I want to do this is that we can identify the abbreviation of the clinical text, and in a free text of a clinical report. With the process, we can identify the abbreviation, and we can map a correct concept of SNOMED-CT. This is like, for example, to identify a fracture of a bone, we have only put FX, and then we can map with the correct name of fracture. For example, here to identify HTA and hypertensive. So this is other one is for example, DECHA is the abbreviation of right. And here we have the situation that DECHA is the second place, but with the applying other algorithms, we can choose the correct number. At last, we have a big vector map with the word of the test, and we can see the relation between all the words. And then when you have this word with the correct code of the clinical of the SNOMED, so you can get more information, visual information from the free text of the clinical text. Well, nothing else. You can see this. I'm going to share this in the Slack channel, and then when you want, I'm going to begin to the session of question and answer. I'm going to stop the AI. Well, I'm going to say if there is some question here. I'm going to begin. Daniel Verdu say for how is collaboration between private company, public healthcare system in Spain? Are main improvement in Spanish healthcare driven by doctor, university research, or private company, or both? Well, this is something complicated because to be a collaboration between the public company, private companies and public healthcare, we need to do a research project. When the research project is approved with the ethic commission, then we can develop the project, and then we can collaborate between the private company and the public healthcare. So there is the problem, like always, with the data, with the privacy of the data. But so now the only situation that we can do is develop a research project, and then we can have a collaboration between this company. Here in Spanish, in Spanish, there is no too many governments, local or regional governments, that have a platform to share and to invite the other people and the other companies to develop research projects. So we need to be a contact with the university, and the university need to know the people in the private company, and then it can it's necessary to develop a research project, and then we can collaborate. Samyaksa say, is AI solely able to replace the human need and some part of the medical diagnosis, or it's a tool to help the doctor? How much has the implementation been? Well, this develop that I saw is about a tool to help the medical specialist. Is a tool to help the codification specialist and the medical people to get the correct code of the clinical concept. This is only in a research way. I have a test to do in real cases, but in my case, only I have for the research, and I have in production to all the hospital. I hope that in the next year, in the next month, more or less, I have a product with the. Oh, okay. Sorry. Here. I'm going to see this. I think that is a little slow. Maybe now it's better. So now it's only to research for the research way. For example, Rahul Kumar, I'm working on identification and detection of percentage of burn on patient, and my model doesn't behave well with respect to the patient with dark complexion. How do we address this kind of issue? Well, I don't know if you have a I don't know if you have the real exactly. I need more information about your project, We can chat. We can discuss that in the channel of Slack when you want. I'm going to see. For example, Lily Burakami, have you heard about other initiative of using AI to make diabetic people life better? I already know about detecting diabetic retinopathy and its difficulty, but I've seen more universities in US and Europe, and particularly in Spain, doing some research about beta cell therapy and type 1. This is a good research line, but here in Spain, where we, for example, in the renal healthcare system, we have some research line about diabetes, but not is using the AI. I would like to do one line about that, but now there is no research line explicitly in AI projects. Sorry, Arturo Polanco said that what is the meaning of PACS? PACS is the repository of the image. Is a big databases that you have all the radiology pictures, and then you can choose one to one that what picture of the PACS of the system that we have stored. Is a big database store of radiology picture. I will try to use. There is other. For example, Nitin, I would like to know that use of Snomet into Word2Vec. Is the implementation used in query generation and early detection of disease? Really, the implementation is how the tool can extract from a free text clinical report the concept, the tag of the concept, and identify what is the clinical concept within Snomet we have made a prototype that is like a search, like a Google search, that you can introduce your concept and then look for into the clinical text, clinical reports to match the correct concept in that clinical report, but with the semantic way. Well, I'm going to do the last question, and if you want, we can go on in the Slack channel, answer your question and discuss what do you want. Here, Erwin, for doctor exploring AI in med, is there a general pattern of course scenarios you can suggest that we focus on the data science, on the computer science behind AI? Thank you. Well, for doctors, exactly is a little, not a little complicated, but is necessary that know more technical approach, because when you develop some algorithms in AI, exactly in deep learning or in machine learning, you need to know, for example, Python. You need to know different libraries. You need to know something that it's necessary to learn if you want to understand what are you doing. So one opportunity is perfectly the deep learning AI machine for medicine. I think that there is other one in other, but now I don't remember. But I think that I have a list of research in my presentation. I'm going to put other one in the future, and you can choose what kind of course you can choose to improve your artificial intelligence techniques. Well, nice to everybody for this keynote, for spend your time in my presentation. I'm happy to enjoy this situation.